Coach?
I'm going to say this. God, it's good to be home. Yeah, it's good to be back in front of 102,000 people who cheer for you and do what you do. So it was great to be in it. You get the 12th man back, and I thought that was a big part of the game, their support in that game, because we knew it was a tough game. And so Ole Miss is a very good football team, and we knew that going in. We knew they was very explosive on offense, and our defense did a really good job for the most part on the day, curtailing what they did. They got a little run there, and at the end of the first, second quarter, and then I think the huge turnover we were able to create. And we haven't been able to create a lot of them. We were able to create that big turnover right there before half. I thought was critical. And then the offense to be able to take it I think we went down 80 yards right there and scored and tied that game. I thought it was a very critical point of the game. And then to come back out and have an unbelievable drive to go right back down, take control of the game, run the football, and fumble it. And they go score. And I think, I tell our kids all the time, it's not about winning and losing. It's about every time you compete, you find out something about yourself. And they keep finding out that they'll get off the mat, they'll play. And they kept their poise and executed. Did a great job. Next play, next drive, hit it. We threw a trick play over the top. Just got to throw it away if that guy safety gets on it. But then to come back with the drives we had, run the football, the 2 touchdown throws Kellen made in the second half. Because when you get down the red zone, what they were doing was putting extra guys in the box where you could not block. There's always one unblocked guy. And we knew he was going to have to make some throws. And after 2 drives where you fumble and throw a pick, how are you going to come back? For him to come back, let us hit some big third downs in that drive, threw a nice perfect fade to 1. And then the other play action on the 5 going in was a perfect throw in the back of the end zone. How he threw it, picked up third downs, was very smart with the football, got drives coming out. We did a great job. But, Travion was huge in the game. Travion ran the football again very well. Our offensive line started taking control of the game as it went on. And it was great to see Oz back out there too. His ability to come back out there, and I think his stability in that group really helps us. Allows us to move some other guys in different spots and do some things and where we're at, and him being out there. But again, our defense I thought was outstanding in the game. We got some sacks. That was a big sack at the end. Forcing them, down to just holding them to the field goal, and lucky they missed it. At the end was critical there, and then go back down and get points. And then big kick by Seth. That scores 21-21. He hit a 46-yarder as a freshman to come in and hit that game there. And especially where we're at in the season. You're trying to find out about yourself. You're trying to grow. You're trying to develop and where you're at. And we'd had some tough times for 2 weeks in a row. So we had to get that done, and our guys did a great job, and very proud of our guys. And I thought it was a very high character quality win today.
We'll start the right side, Gabe, then Brent, and Olin.
What was the defense able to do there, Jimbo? You held them scoreless in the first, scoreless in the third, and to a field goal in the fourth. You got to be.
Well, we got
really
3 and out, and the field position was huge. We had them started back, and they got a couple plays. Then the thing we're doing too now, you got to remember, we had 37 minutes of possession on offense. They're getting 3 and outs and doing a good job in the run game, and then they missed a pass or 2 and get 3 and out, and we're taking the ball. Even the drives we weren't scoring, we're still keeping it. We're on the field. They're off the field. You know what I mean? And then when they started back, the field position was not great. It was never great. And unfortunately, we gave up a 7 on a fumble recovery. But where they were starting, but they were doing a great job of mixing and matching. In other words, you had to pick your poison. In other words, we give up a couple of those runs to double some of their wideouts. We lost some edge people on the edge, and we got to support it and see it quicker at safety. But you didn't want to leave those guys one-on-one all day. Because you saw, they made we were in perfect position down the right sideline. Guy goes up, makes a catch, and scores. And then late in the game, round. Those guys are big-bodied guys, and they had great ball skills, and that's what they do. It was one-on-one matchups. So Mike did a great job, I think, of mixing 2-man, clouding over the top, creating safety help in a lot of areas. But when you do that, you can get weak in the box, and did that, and then would mix back and kept it off balance, and I thought did a really nice job with his game plan. And then offensively, us being able to control the ball, which we knew, and we wanted to, and we knew we had possessions down and we had to score points, because if you can't come out of there, because you knew they were eventually going to get some points out of what they were going to do. So it was a good mix and match. Mike did a really nice job.
We'll go Brent and then Olin.
With the 2 turnovers to start the second half, and Kellen had struggled to that point. At that point, did you consider taking him out?
He was 13 and 19. He had a great first drive. He was 13 and 19 the first half for 152. He missed 1 go route there and a slant route on the first drive. But there was a question. I wanted to see how he responded. When you do that to a guy, you don't jerk him out right there. I wanted to see how he responded back. His look in his eye was good. He told me why. I knew it, and went back out and had a great drive and took us right down and scored a touchdown. That was a big point. And if something after that happened, you do have to think about that as far as, can you get rhythm or momentum. But his body language is never there, but we thought about, and there's no doubt that you have to think about that. That crosses your mind without a doubt.
Olin?
Okay, actually, I was going to ask you about that, but since we got some, if
y'all were sitting beside each other, you could have got together.
If you wouldn't mind addressing that, you took Charles Oliver out of the game, and it seemed like y'all played pretty well
Well, we're mixing and matching. Some of those other corners are getting healthy. They're playing well. Charles went back in the game and played some, but we were mixing and matching guys in rotation, trying to find the exact group because against those guys with Miles and Charles and Renfro and everybody else that was playing in the game. So, we're mixing and matching guys and trying to keep a rotation and keep developing more players.
Go to the left, Zach, and then Christie.
Jimbo right here. As far as the turnovers, obviously asked about it on offense, but your defense being able to recover a fumble, I know turnovers have been hard to come by this year.
That was a huge one.
So
Because they
yeah.
could go up 21-7 right there. Again, that's what I said. Getting that fumble right before half was very critical. There was two more on the ground out there, one in the punt and something else I wish we could have got our hands on. But we hadn't seen any on the ground, so we didn't know what they looked like. So I joke about that. But, getting that turnover was huge. And then, like I said, being able to convert it and drive right before half and get the touchdown to tie it up, I thought was huge.
Go to the right, Christie, then Ben and Suzanne.
After your team was unable to close out the games in the fourth quarter the last 2 weeks, how proud were you that they not only, when they got up, they didn't let up?
We didn't let up. We kept playing defensively. And before they made that great catch and almost got back within 7, but then to go out and on offense and pound and take that score right back down and get up by 10 and then come back down again when they got it within 7 to come back and get it to 14 was huge. And that, again, that's another step in our learning process and our curve of how to play with a dominant mentality.
To the right, Ben, then Suzanne, Mark.
So I guess the question goes, how close were you, had Mon continued to struggle there? How close
We
were
have to
you?
wait and see. I could have, I could not have. Those are things you play by the ear, and then, you always say when player drops, like when guys drop balls, you take them out. Let's give them a series, see how they respond back, and he responded back. There was and the look in his eye was not bad, but you could have thought if he struggled that next drive, I'd had to really seriously think about it.
And then Suzanne.
But you know what's funny? Everybody goes through that. When you're the quarterback, you're going to have those moments. There's going to be guys, man, should I take him out? Should I not take him out? Should I not? Have faith in him. There's no doubt he deserved the chance to go back in because I knew the look in his eye and the competitor he was. But we all face him. And that's what great players do that are able to respond to that adversity.
Suzanne.
Over here. Guess what I want to ask you about the quarterback? When you have a conversation with Kellen and it's back-to-back turnovers like that, do you change up what you tell him? What did you actually
Well,
say
first
to
I want to
him?
find out what happened, what you saw, so we can fix that, and what your mindset was. What were you thinking? You know what I'm saying? All right, what did I see and what was I thinking? Because how do you think going into a situation can often, as I say, we often spend time with everything we do in our life, how to fix things. Well, as a coach, you try to prevent things. And I think a guy's thought process going into something is even more vital sometimes than what he sees. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think one way, that tells you how you're looking or where you're looking and will make you create a problem. You know what I mean? That's even more important than what you see actually when it happens. And then that's the second part of it. So when he was very clear for what happened, why he did it, what was going on, and then, at least I knew it wasn't crazy. 'Cause it was the same thing I was getting back, the same thing I thought happened and what I saw.
Okay, we'll go Mark and then Cedric.
Jimbo, you touched a little bit on Travion's performance, but 228 yards today. And I was just wondering if you could elaborate on, just his overall performance and how he closed things out for
The way
you.
he closed things out, our offensive line did a great job controlling the line of scrimmage in the second half. Thought we did and got a better job protecting Kellen. And because he took some shots in that first half too, a little bit. But his ability to run in space for a little guy and find green grass and be powerful and strong. He's having a heck of a year and he's playing good. He's a rock that we can lean on consistently week in, week out.
To the right,
Very proud of him. Great leader too.
Cedric, and then down front, Travis.
Jimbo, how important was sudden change defense, and what were your conversations like when they were getting those chunk plays early?
Well, I was trying to find out what it were. They RPOs, which a lot of them were RPOs, which they do, and then the sudden change, which we work on and spend a lot of time on. And the good thing was that we didn't. The fumble ended up getting a score. The other one we had, at least it was down on their end of the field, and that's something we didn't fix the week before because even though the turnover at Auburn was still on their own 29-yard line. You know what I mean? Our defense went out, kept their poise in the game, and I thought they did a really good job of disciplining themselves, of who their people were, and how not to get lowered down into the box on play actions and things. But in their RPO game, gets very tough. But I thought they did a great job in sudden change, and I thought offensively we did. Once we got that one turnover, we were able to come back. And then the sudden change of losing momentum in the game, and then the drive to tie it up 21-21 after 2 consecutive turnovers. That's as big a drive as you can have, in my opinion.
Down front, Travis.
Coach, how important was it to have the performance that Jamon had today, not only for himself, but to open stuff up for the other guys?
The other guys and what their roles are and what they can do and where they can go. And, he's just been there so many times. And a lot of those guys, other guys who are playing great, Hez and all those guys are playing great. One's playing great, 13, 14. But Oz has done it at a high level more consistent. He's the leader. He's the group. And having him there it's like a security blanket, in my opinion. I think it just makes everybody feel better and know that, and it takes the pressure off those guys. It takes pressure off those other guys as far as what their role is, not playing, but all the preparation and practice going in, the leadership roles, a lot of them were having to absorb as they were playing. It's just a responsibility they can back off of that Oz can pick up, and it makes you play better.
Down front, far right.
Jimbo, A&M hadn't beaten Ole Miss at home since 1975. So what kind of statement does this win make
right?
today?
I didn't know that. I did not know that. That's a big, hey, any win right now is a big statement, especially coming off a 2-game losing streak. And I joke about that, but it is because you had to learn. And there's every game in this league is a hard-fought game. And it is a big win, and hopefully it's another step for us to progress and finish this year out the right way. I never knew that.
Right side, Olin.
Yeah, Jimbo, this weekend you were saying that the Ole Miss receivers make you hold your breath and things like that. Did your defense with Tomu only getting 1 touchdown pass exceed your expectations today?
I don't think they exceeded it. I thought it was a great combination of them playing the abilities. Like I said, Mike did a great job of keeping them off and then, offensively keeping it off the board, keeping the ball away from them. But our guys did a great job of contesting throws and making plays. And then, the thing about it, they got the one big play for the touchdown, which was the touchdown. And then the one thing about spread offense, which can be difficult too, when you get to that red zone, that space gets really tight. Now, that's where they've excelled because they got big-bodied receivers. They usually jump over you or make that physical catch, where a lot of guys don't have that. But our guys did a good job because we were tall at corner, and our guys contested balls. And I was very proud of our defense. Thought they were outstanding in the day.
Stay right side, Brent.
How many yards they get?
Receiving 373 for Ole Miss.
Holy moly. That's pretty. But to keep them out of the end zone, that's big. And to move the ball between the 20s and don't. That to me, that's learning to play situational football and great red zone defense. I don't think they scored well, if you think about that, they scored a long touchdown, one on the return. What was the other touchdown they had?
The fumble return, then
Fumble
1 yard
return,
run.
what was the other one?
1 yard run.
They had the 1 yard. So really, they only had one red zone touchdown. And then we knew that was critical going in, that not if you don't give up the big plays and not giving up red zone touchdowns, making them kick field goals, which we did, and then they even missed one. So I thought that was a great job by our defense also.
Right side, Brent.
You've said before that Tyrell is not allowed to get hurt. Are you holding your breath at that point, and then does that speak to his toughness when he comes
no
back
doubt.
into the game?
We just went over and I sent a message to him,
back?
get out of there, you're not hurt, you're not allowed to be hurt. No, we didn't. It makes you hold your breath, no doubt. Because depth situations there, just not the other guys that play, just numbers of bodies, you know what I'm saying, and what other guys do. And the reps and when it goes. So that was huge for him to come back and play. And, he's a heck of a football player.
Time for a couple more to the left, Zach.
Jim, over here, you kind of addressed it a little bit, but how much did your team need this win for your confidence?
I think it was huge. I think it was huge for their development of how to deal with adversity, but how to fight through situations and find out about themselves, that coming back, that when you got to put the past behind you, you can't dwell on it. You got to look to the future and go. And I thought it was a big step today for us to grow as a football team in those areas. But it was a huge step, no doubt, and also gets us bowl eligible, which is another big step.
Anything else? All right, Coach. We'll get the players.